Hello, Megan here, and I just wanted to do this quick sort of mini training to talk about something that I see a lot of women struggling with. And so I want to just map it all out for you. So I literally have the notes right here so you can follow along. And at the end of this mini training too, I will share a link that you can use to book a free strategy session with me if that is something that you're interested in. So this mini training is all about 4 strategies for healthy, effective fat loss if your body is ready. And I'm going to talk about why I give that caveat in just a minute. But first, let's go over the conventional dieting equation versus a more holistic sort of weight loss equation. So what a lot of people think weight loss looks like is just the simple equation of calories in versus calories out automatically results in weight loss. And if you have done this in the past, it might have worked at first, but if it's something that you're doing right now and you've just been trying to eat less, exercise more, you're probably realizing that it's not working. And it's not your fault. It's just the only thing that you've been taught, the only thing you know, thanks to the diet industry. And so whenever we actually learn what a holistic, safe, healthy weight loss equation looks like, it's much easier to follow, much more sustainable. So this is what we're going for here. It's a little longer of an equation, but it works. So stable energy plus regulated cortisol, which is your stress hormone, plus managed cravings and hunger, plus adequate, meaning you're getting enough macronutrients and micronutrients. That is the equation for weight loss success. So I want to go over a couple things to keep in mind before we get into the 4 strategies, but let's just keep this equation in mind as we approach healthy, sustainable fat loss. So first, 3 things that I want you to keep in mind if you're somebody who wants to lose weight. The first one is that there are prerequisites to healthy weight loss. You have to earn your way to letting your body know it's safe, it's nourished, and it's okay to lose weight. So a lot of women, they're living in a chronically stressed out state, whether they realize it or not, and probably most likely inflamed. And this is from everyday modern lifestyle and also just the damage that we've done to our body over years of potentially trying to lose weight. And also there's environmental stressors, there's mental emotional stressors, lots going on. So for one reason or another, their body is not ready to lose weight. And so we try to lose weight because we want to feel better, but losing weight is actually super stressful for the body because fat is protective and losing weight is a stressor on the body. It's not preferred, and that's why it's more difficult for some women. So in other words, and we're not in this training going to get into the long list of prerequisites, but we can save that mini training for another time. So in kind of the quick way to just kind of sum this up is if your goal is to lose, whether it's 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, but you're struggling with a lot of symptoms like low energy, trouble sleeping, lack of hunger. So like you don't feel hungry and you're skipping meals, hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, PMS or heavy periods, digestive issues. So you're bloated after meals, you can't tolerate certain foods, and maybe that leads you to restricting more foods. You're not going to the bathroom every single day. So a lot of toxins are building up in your body. Or if you're stuck right now in depriving and then binging, where you might go through periods of restriction and dieting, like 1,200, 1,500 calories a day. And then you go through days or weekends or weeks where you're overeating and you just struggle with consistency. Trying to lose weight isn't going to help you to be more consistent. So these are all of the things that if you're dealing with, you have to prioritize taking care of the symptoms because weight loss is your body's last priority. So those symptoms need to be addressed either first or at the same time. And that is why whenever I work with women, we pay attention to all of the things that are going on. We look at this very whole body approach. It's not just, oh, you feel like you're 30 pounds overweight. Let's try to lose weight. You have to address the energy, the sleep, the hormonal imbalances, the digestive issues, so that the weight loss comes much easier and more naturally, and it's not stressful for the body. So that's the first thing. Second thing that I want to mention is that you can still enjoy life while pursuing weight loss. So You should not feel miserable, and trying to lose weight should not take you away from real life things. So being social, being able to travel, being able to eat really delicious foods, being able to enjoy meals with family. So like you're literally eating the same thing as your husband and your kids. That is all very realistic and can also align with losing weight. So if you find yourself putting off losing weight because you think it's going to be unenjoyable and really hard, I find a lot of women do this, especially as the holidays come up. Like they don't want to try to lose weight throughout the holidays because they think it means they won't be able to eat their favorite foods or enjoy these, social gatherings and things. It is not true if you're focusing on the foundations and you're focusing on what really, really matters. So we think that it has to be difficult because of this ridiculous advice that's out there from the diet industry. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, this is a really important one, is that you do not get healthy by losing weight. So you losing 10 pounds is not going to make you healthier internally. It's the other way around. So you get healthy by focusing on habits and foundations, and a lot of what I teach my one-on-one clients and in my metabolism renewal course. And as a result, you will lose weight. So if your body feels ready to lose weight, it will lose weight. And this is why not hyper-focusing day in and day out on the weight loss itself is really helpful for achieving long-term weight loss. So as an example of this, I have a few of them, and these are ones that I come across a lot whenever I talk to women. First one being, if you have hormonal imbalances, so maybe you have PCOS or you have hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid, or maybe it's Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid, or if you have heavy periods, a sign of hormone imbalances, especially low progesterone, trying to lose weight. And I use this example because I know that a lot of women have been told by their doctors that if they're struggling with PCOS or Hashimoto's or irregular periods, that they need to lose weight to fix the problem. And that's not going to fix the problem. So whenever you try to lose weight, especially by dieting and adding more stress to the body, it makes these hormonal imbalances even worse. So that's the first example. Second one is if you're somebody who has insulin resistance or diabetes, or maybe you're pre-diabetic, you have gotten your labs done by your doctor and they've told you that you're pre-diabetic, trying to lose weight will not solve this diagnosis either. And in fact, if again, you try to lose weight by completely cutting out carbohydrates or completely cutting out sugar, it's going to cause more stress in the body. So that's another example. The third example is high cholesterol. I see a lot of women or just people coming to me realizing they need to work on their nutrition because they have high cholesterol. High cholesterol is a sign that your body is dealing with inflammation. And this inflammation can be caused from eating refined carbohydrates, which I find that to be true for a lot of people. Also from eating processed sugar or even like diety foods, so low carbohydrate shakes and bars and snacks and things like that. Or if you're dealing with a chronic infection, so this could be a gut infection, if you have a lot of digestive issues, or it could be from environmental toxins. These things are also causing inflammation in the body, which causes higher cholesterol. Another big one is over-exercising. If you're doing too much and you're trying to work out, especially chronic cardio, spin class, long runs, things like that every single day, your body's dealing with inflammation. And then lastly, if you have hypothyroidism, again, we need to treat the fact that you have low functioning thyroid, because that can also cause high cholesterol. So the reason for your high cholesterol isn't because you're overweight, just like all these other issues is not because you're overweight. So gaining weight is not what caused these issues in the first place, and therefore losing weight won't resolve them. Focusing on actual true health and the nutrition foundations and lifestyle habits that I teach, that's what's going to first fix those symptoms, and then secondly, lose weight as a result. So I hope that makes sense. I'll get off my soapbox now, but that is the third really important point that I want you to just recognize before we get into the 4 strategies for healthy, sustainable, long-term fat loss, not quick fix. I'm going to restrict calories and cause all this stress in my body and lose weight temporarily. So let's get into it. So the goal, if this is for you, you know that you want to lose weight without causing metabolic and hormonal adaptations and without causing nutrient deficiencies from depriving your body of food, without causing mood swings and more mood issues, without causing sleep issues, or without sacrificing your sanity and your social life. So that is the way that you can go about losing weight if you want to lose weight. So step number one is supporting blood sugar balance. This is the foundation for a lot of things, including supporting your hormones. So for when it comes to fat loss, you want to be able to eat in a way that maintains steady blood sugar throughout the day. It's going to help to minimize cravings. And when we minimize cravings and manage hunger, it's easier to be consistent and make good choices without having to rely on willpower or discipline. So that is why blood sugar balancing is like the linchpin and really helpful for being consistent. And again, getting rid of those blood sugar drops that requires the physiological need for sugar in the blood, which is why we crave quick, easy carbohydrate and processed sugar sources. So there are many, many ways to ensure balanced blood sugar. And in the metabolism renewal course, there is an entire module on specific ways to balance blood sugar that go beyond just what's on your plate as well. So things like getting quality sleep and sunlight and starting your day off in the right way with a good morning routine, those can all help. But when it comes to fat loss, what we're going to talk about is starting with what's on your plate. So right here, what you can start thinking about, and I'll give some examples in a second, is just making sure that your meal contains the right amount of protein, fat, and carbs. And you want to keep this in the right balance for your specific body. That will keep you full for 3 to 4 hours. So you shouldn't have to feel like you're snacking and grazing all throughout the day. And on the other end, you don't want to fast until 1 p.m. and then be eating all throughout the afternoon and into the evening. So your meals and your snacks, whenever you're hungry, should all be blood sugar balancing friendly. And these are some really good examples of blood sugar friendly meals. I also want to say this is why you don't have to cut out carbohydrates. You just have to balance those carbs with protein, with fat, and with fiber. So some quick, very straightforward examples. These are boring. You can definitely spruce these up however you want to, but combinations of protein, fat, carbs, and fiber, which, you can throw really any vegetables in there and you'll be good to go. So grass-fed beef, which is a great combo of protein and fat. That's what the P and F are for there. You can do grass-fed beef with roasted potatoes, which are carbohydrates, saute some mushrooms and onions in avocado oil, which takes care of some veggies, some carbs, and then the avocado oil is going to give you some good healthy fats. Another example is going to be baked salmon with some Brussels sprouts that you're roasting in some butter. So that's good veggies, fiber, and fat. And then if you want more carbohydrates with that meal, you can add in some rice. I personally like doing white rice because it's easier to digest, but personal preference based on taste and texture and digestive capacity. And then a good kind of breakfasty example is scrambled eggs, usually around 3. That's going to get you to your protein goal, which I'll talk about in a second. Pair that with like a turkey apple sausage. I have a really good homemade turkey apple sausage recipe that I share with my clients and in my course. That's going to be great combos of protein and fat. And then for some carbohydrates, you could do some hash browns. So like just shredded potatoes and saute those in with good healthy fat and you'll be good to go. Or you could use like leftover roasted potatoes or something like that. So, or a piece of fruit if you love fruit in the morning with breakfast. Again, balancing those carbs with protein and fat. So those are some examples. It doesn't have to be complicated. I have a build your plate guide. I have a simple meal template that you can use to literally like plug and play your protein carb sources. So blood sugar stability with meals and with snacks is the first goal. Secondly, protein. If you're going to focus on just one macronutrient, I would say for fat loss, make it protein. And you want it to be from bioavailable, meaning they're the easiest for your body to break down, absorb, and use for energy and actually get the nutrients from them. Bioavailable protein. So it's going to be your best friend when it comes to improving your metabolism because you're supporting muscle mass, which when you have more muscle mass, you're going to be burning more calories at rest. And then in addition to building muscle and burning more calories at rest, it's also going to help support blood sugar balance. So that is why we love protein, just a couple of reasons. Another reason I personally am a huge proponent of good quality protein with all of the amino acids is because amino acids will help to improve your mood. So they are the precursors to neurotransmitters, and neurotransmitters help to regulate your mood, which is why I see a lot of women who are following a vegetarian or vegan diet, not only struggling with some micronutrient deficiencies that can lead to mood issues, but also a lack of those amino acids. So they have more anxiety, they struggle with mood issues, even as far as dealing with depression. And so just by simply adding in some of those good quality animal proteins, slow and steady, to make sure your digestive function can catch back up to that as well, it's a game changer. So that aside, one of the best ways to think about getting enough protein throughout the day, because 80 to 100 grams can sound like a lot. Most women are probably, just when they start tracking initially, are around like 50 to 60 grams. And so it's good to be intentional at first. You don't have to track long-term, but a good way to think about it. And I just kind of mapped it out here for you. So breakfast, 25 grams, lunch, 30 grams, dinner, 25 grams. So you'll see those meals are like between 20 and 30 grams. And then your snacks can be 10 grams. So really easy once you kind of map it out in that way. And we know that we want to space it out evenly throughout the day to support blood sugar balance. All right. So number 3 is to customize your meal timing. And I say customize because this varies based on your energy levels, also the types of activity that you're doing, your hormonal status, whether you're premenopausal, perimenopausal, or postmenopausal. That is definitely taken into consideration. But a good place to start for a lot of women is with 12 hours of fasting overnight. So you're going from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. basically without eating. And then throughout the day, you want to avoid just mindless snacking and grazing every couple hours, and actually commit to solid meals that will keep you full for 3 to 4 hours. And then you can fill in that in between meals with some blood sugar friendly snacks. So again, I don't recommend extended fasting, and I would consider extended fasting like anything over 12 hours. So maybe like, 14, 16, 18 hours. I don't recommend this for hormonal health. So if you're struggling with PMS, PCOS, hypothyroidism, we have to go back to support those actual hormonal imbalances first. And then we can talk more about the fasting piece. But that is one kind of caveat. And then another one is if you're extremely active. So if you're waking up and you're going straight to the gym or CrossFit, or, you're having like an intense workout or practice or whatever it is, you're training for something, probably not a good time to fast. It's just going to add more stress on your body. And your goal is to support your body's muscle growth and recovery. So fasting doesn't necessarily align with those goals. But some benefits of fasting, especially starting with this 12-hour period, great for a lot of women because you're giving your GI tract a break. So you're actually giving that digestive system that's working all day long a break. And then also it can improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation. So your body is actually using fat for fuel, and it will improve your blood sugar stability throughout the day. So that is helpful for a lot of women, starting with that 12-hour fast. And other thing I want to mention is don't let fasting be an excuse for under eating calories or ignoring your hunger. So you're not using intermittent fasting as a way to cut out calories, which, if you've heard of somebody using intermittent fasting and like they brag about it because they were able to lose weight, it's usually just because they cut calories that were unnecessary for their body in the first place. So we still want to make sure we're hitting our calorie goals, even if we are fasting. So keep that in mind. And another good question to ask yourself is, am I putting my body under more stress by not eating? If you're waking up and you're feeling hungry, honor that hunger, eat a regular meal. Like, you don't have to overthink it. Because if you're putting your body under stress by fasting, it is completely counterproductive for fat loss. So just noodle on that a little bit. All right, fourth and last step is to figure out your calorie sweet spot. So this is where you are at just a slight deficit, but it's not enough to impact your hunger, your sleep, your mood, or your cravings. And those are all hunger, sleep, mood, cravings, things that you need to be paying attention to day in and day out that will help you determine whether what you're doing is working for you or not. If those are off in any way, that's a sign that your body is adapting in a way that's probably not ideal for long-term fat loss. So it is really important to keep your metabolism and your hormones supported, and the hunger, the sleep, the mood, the cravings. When those things are off, that tells us that you're going through metabolic and hormonal adaptations. You want to keep those things supported while also losing weight. So you can do both at the same time. So a good way to prevent this is by avoid going to extremes. So extremes look like 1,500 calories a day, cutting out all carbs, fasting for 18 hours, right? Like those are things that I have already made the first 3 recommendations, and notice I didn't say to completely cut out anything. It's all about balancing blood sugar with protein, carbs, and fat, or fasting just enough to not cause stress on your body. And now we're talking about finding that slight deficit, which is not 1,500 calories for any like fully functioning female who is an adult, right? Maybe if you're a 12-year-old, but for grown women, 1,500 calories is an extreme and it's not enough. So we have to find that calorie sweet spot. For a lot of women, they're much more surprised about how much they should be eating than they think they are. So it could be for you, you've been trying to eat 1,700 calories a day, you're not losing weight. Really, you need to be eating 2,100 calories a day in order to lose weight, because that's what's going to let your body know fuel is coming in, so you can also burn fuel. And when you're burning that fuel, you're losing weight. So we want to keep this in mind, and everyone's different here, which is why I work through this with my clients one-on-one. We figure out what that calorie sweet spot is. And we also talk about this in the metabolism renewal course with all of the resources and step-by-step that you need to go through to figure out this calorie sweet spot. If you want more information on this, I'm happy to put together some free resources for you. So definitely just let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. Another sign that you're probably not eating enough consistently is if you feel like you're always having to rely on willpower or discipline. So if that's you, then you're probably too low in calories, or you're too low in macronutrients, especially protein and especially good carbohydrates. So there's so much that goes into determining how many calories are right for you. Your age, gender, weight, those are kind of the more obvious things, but also your metabolic health, your hormonal health, your adrenals, your thyroid, lots that goes into it. So one resource I'll link here that you can get started with is this simple BMR calculator. And with that, you can kind of get an idea of how many calories you should be eating based on the chart that's there. So it'll say BMR, that's how much you should be eating if you were literally laying on your couch all day. And then you have that chart that based on your activity levels will tell you your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure. So that's all we'll go to in depth with that. But what I want to offer you now is, if you've listened to this entire training now and you're interested in talking more through this and figuring out what it will take for you to lose fat in a healthy, sustainable way, and you want the support step-by-step to go through that, then you can book a free strategy call with me. So that is the link there. I'll also just put it in the description below so you can click it and open that link to my calendar. It'll ask you a couple questions that I need to know just before we have that session. And then you can schedule that session, time that works for you, and I will give you a call then. So that's all I have for this mini training. I hope it was helpful for you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.